Demand for new homes is on the rise. The Commerce Department reports that sales of new homes rose to a two-year high in May, up 7.6%, pushing purchases to a 369,000 annual rate. Margaret Kelly is the CEO of RE/MAX, and she joins us from her office in Denver. Ms. Kelly, welcome to Bottom Line. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
What are you hearing from your representatives about the housing situation?
We're hearing that there is great momentum out there. Not only did new home sales go up, the report today, that's twofold. One, I think we're going to be underbuilt in the future. So hearing that they're starting to construct more is very good. But the other thing it does, it adds jobs into the economy. On the existing home sales side, I'll tell you what, we are seeing things that we haven't seen in years. Prices are going up, the number of homes being sold is going up, and our inventory of all things is going down.
You mentioned jobs. As you well know, job growth remains weak, and it does look like this recovery in the housing market is modest at best, 5 years after the burst of the housing bubble. What's fueling the increase in new home sales?
I really believe that with low inventory, people are beginning to say, do I want to move into an existing home, or is there a demand for new homes? And there is demand for new homes. I also believe that home builders are looking into the future saying the recovery is right on the brink. We have a modest recovery. It's going to continue to grow. They need to be ready for that. They can't be behind in building.
Ms. Kelly, as you know, though, the supply of new home sales, the excess inventory, you say there's demand, but it's still not nearly where it should be. It's still low. But the median sales price increased 5.6% from May of last year to $234,500. What's the outlook for home prices?
Well, to have one median home price really is not representative of real estate. All markets are local. And so you really need to go into your local market and look and see what's happening in prices. And that could be within a city. It could be within a subdivision within a city to see if prices are going up or going down. But all in all, the amazing thing to me is the number of homes for sale has gone down. To give you an example, in Miami, a year ago, there was a 5-year supply of homes for sale. Right now, there is a 3-month supply. We are finding that investors are moving into the market, buying homes, either as second homes, or what they're doing is turning it into rentals. So many families have been foreclosed upon. They can't buy a home. They need to be able to rent, and investors are providing that market.
Newly constructed houses, they made up 6.7% of the residential market last year, and that was down from a high of 15% during the boom of the past decade. When might we start to see residential construction make a significant contribution to economic growth?
I think once that we really get all of the foreclosures through the market and we get back to a normal market, which will probably be a couple years, plus the home builders need to gear up. They need to hire construction jobs, and they need to really plot out what they're going to do and move forward. I don't think they're going to jump into the market too quickly. They're going to be more cautious and have a steady growth in building.
Ms. Kelly, I read something rather intriguing last week. Adam Levin, he's the founder of Credit.com. He's the former director of the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs. He had a column in the Huffington Post, and it read in part, quoting here, banks need to adopt new ways to recognize who is creditworthy and who is not. That's because current credit scoring models based upon traditional credit report data sets can't help banks identify millions of potential customers who are perfectly trustworthy and deserving of credit. Mr. Levin's calling for the creation of what he calls No Bar. That's the non-standard borrower's alternative resource, and he says it would help individuals with bad credit scores secure a new mortgage or refi. I wanted to ask, do you think it's time to take another look at how credit models are calculated?
I think we do need to take a look at it because so many people have been hit, not necessarily their own fault. Maybe a home value went down or different things hit their credit model. But part of the problem is we had too loose of lending standards. Now we have swung to where it is too tight of lending standards. Somehow we've got to get back to that common sense, middle of the ground, have good realistic standards in lending, have down payments on homes, have proof that you have a job, stop all of the creative mortgages that used to go on, and let's get back to some common sense lending.
Ms. Kelly, I have about 30 seconds left. Last week, the Fed lowered its outlook for growth and employment. What does that mean for you and your representatives as you work to help Americans make the move from becoming renters to homeowners?
Well, we watch that number closely, GDP and employment, because people with jobs, they keep homes, they buy homes. So we watch it very closely. But all in all, the positives that we see in the market, that we do feel that jobs will start to begin to grow again. And I do believe it's a slow and steady recovery, but we're in a recovery.
Margaret Kelly, she's the CEO of RE/MAX, joining us from her office in Denver. Ms. Kelly, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.